Imagine losing everything, before you even had a chance to hold it. What if I told you one of the most influential men in all of human history, a man who helped reshape the course of civilizations, a man remembered and mentioned by billions around the world every single day, was an orphan, born into the desert, no father, no mother, no map, no guarantee, just silence and stars, and a question the world had not yet learned to ask. This is not just a history lesson. This is the story of a man who felt everything you have ever felt. Loneliness, grief, rejection, fear, and still stood up. Every single time. Close your eyes for a moment. Picture a desert, not the kind you see in movies. Clean dunes, golden light, a beautiful sunset. No. Picture a real desert. Brutal heat. Cracked earth. Air so dry it cuts your throat when you breathe. The year is 570 AD. A city called Mecca. Like many societies of its time, it was a world of deep contradictions. Tribal codes of honor existed alongside cruelty, moments of generosity alongside deep injustice. Slaves were bought and sold. The weak were often crushed beneath the feet of the powerful. The poor had little protection, and few people dared to challenge the system. Into this world, a child is born. His name is Muhammad. And before he can even open his eyes fully, the world begins to take from him. His father, Abdullah, dies before Muhammad is even born. Sit with that for a moment. His father never saw his face. His mother, Amina, raises him alone. She is tired. She carries grief so heavy, it presses against her chest like stone. For a few years she does her best. She loves him. She holds him. She whispers prayers over his sleeping face at night. But when Muhammad is just 6 years old, she dies too, a 6-year-old boy, standing near his mother's grave. In the desert, not fully understanding what forever means, but feeling it. Oh, he feels it. That kind of loss, it doesn't just break your heart, it reaches down into your chest and rearranges something. That never quite goes back to the way it was. He goes to live with his grandfather, Abdul Muttalib, a noble, respected elder who loves Muhammad deeply. For 2 years, the boy finds something close to warmth again. And then, his grandfather dies too. 3 losses, before the age of 8. Father, mother, grandfather, gone. He is taken in by his uncle, Abu Talib, a good man, but one with many mouths to feed. Muhammad grows up helping, working, watching. As a young boy, he takes sheep to the hills to graze, alone, for hours. Just him, the animals, the sky, the silence. And I want you to understand something. That silence was not empty. That silence was teaching him. Years pass. The boy becomes a young man. And something unusual begins to happen in Mecca. People start talking about him. Not because he is loud, not because he demands attention, not because he comes from wealth. They talk about him because of the way he is. When he makes a promise, he keeps it. When someone is hurting, he stops. When the weak are being crushed, he speaks. In a world where dishonest deals and broken promises were common, this young man simply tells the truth. Every time. Even when it costs him. Even when silence would be safer. The people of Mecca give him a nickname. Al-Amin. The Trustworthy One. Think about that. In an entire city full of traders, merchants, warriors, and politicians, he is the one they call trustworthy. He begins to work for a remarkable businesswoman named Khadijah. Respected, successful, known for her sharp judgment. She hears about this young man's honesty. She hires him to lead her trade caravans. And he does the work with such integrity, such care, that something unexpected happens. She proposes marriage to him, and he says yes. Khadija becomes his wife, his partner, his shelter. In a world that had taken so much from him, she gives. She gives him a home. She gives him warmth. She gives him children. She gives him, for the first time in his life, the feeling that he is not alone. For 15 years they build a life together. He is respected, loved, known, but inside something is stirring, something he cannot yet fully name. There is a cave on a mountain just outside Mecca. It is called Hira. Muhammad begins going there, alone. He sits in silence. He reflects on the world below him, the noise, the suffering, the forgotten people. He prays to the one God he feels deeply within his soul. He returns to this cave for years, days at a time, sometimes more. His wife Khadija sends food with him. She worries. She loves him. She watches him becoming something she does not yet fully understand. And then, on a night in the month of Ramadan, in the year 610 AD, something happens in that cave that Muslims believe changed the entire world. He is alone. The cave is dark. The mountain is silent. And then, a presence, something so overwhelming that Muhammad feels it press against him. And a voice, Iqra. Read. Muhammad is trembling, his heart pounding. I cannot read, he says. He was never formally taught to read. He never attended school. He is a man of the desert and the market, not a scholar. The presence holds him. Iqra. 3 times. And then words about creation, about the one God, about the human soul, about the purpose of life. Muhammad runs. He runs down the mountain, his body shaking, his mind burning with something he has never experienced before. Terror, awe, confusion, wonder. He reaches home. He finds Khadija. And this man, this strong, trusted, composed man, collapses into her arms. Cover me. Cover me, I am afraid. I want you to sit with that image. The man who would go on to face armies, running home to his wife, trembling, afraid. Because that is what honest human beings do. They don't perform strength they don't feel. They go home. They ask for help. They say, I am afraid. Khadija holds him. She does not panic. She does not run. She looks at him, this man she has known for 15 years, and she says, no. You will not be abandoned. You are kind. You help the poor. You are honest. God would never disgrace a man like you. She believes in him, before he fully understands the weight of what he has experienced. That is the kind of person who changes the world. Not alone, but held up by someone who sees them clearly. He begins to speak, quietly at first, to close friends, to family. He tells them, there is only one God. The idols are stone. The poor deserve dignity. The slave is equal to the nobleman before God. The powerful will answer for what they have done. Some people listen. Some believe. Some feel, yes. Yes. This is what we have been waiting for. But the powerful families of Mecca, they are furious. Because those who profit from the way things are always resist the people who say things must change. They mock him. They call him a madman, a liar, a poet trying to confuse simple people. And for his followers, especially the poorest among them, they make life unbearable. Bilal, a slave, one of the first to accept Muhammad's message of human dignity. His master drags him into the desert sun, midday heat. A heavy rock placed on his chest, so heavy Bilal can barely breathe. Deny him. Deny this God, and you will be free. Bilal looks at the sky above him, at the burning sun, at the pain tearing through his body, and he whispers, Ahad, Ahad. One God. And I will not deny it. This is what truth costs sometimes. Muhammad sees this. He feels the weight of every person who suffers. He carries it. All of it. Mecca turns against him harder. His uncle Abu Talib stands as a shield, a protector between Muhammad and the powerful tribes. As long as Abu Talib lives, they cannot reach Muhammad completely. But then, Abu Talib falls ill. Muhammad sits beside him. He asks his uncle, gently, to say the words. Just the words. One God. Abu Talib shakes his head slowly. He cannot leave the faith of his fathers. And he dies. Muhammad walks out of that room, carrying the grief of a man who could not bring the one who raised him all the way home. And then, within the same year, Khadija falls ill. Khadija, his wife of 25 years, his shelter, the first person who ever believed in him, the woman who held him when he was shaking on that mountain, the woman who said, God will not disgrace you. She dies. Both of them. The same year. Muhammad himself calls this year the year of grief. He is now alone in a way that reaches the bone. No protector, no closest companion. And the people of Mecca, sensing the shield is gone, press harder. He travels on foot to a city called Taif, to ask for shelter, to ask for support, to simply ask, will you listen? The leaders there laugh. They chase him out. They set people after him, who throw stones, until his feet bleed. He sits outside the city walls, bleeding, alone, in an orchard, the sun pressing down, and he raises his hands, not in rage, not demanding punishment for those who hurt him. He prays, O God, if you are not angry with me, I do not care about anything else. Your forgiveness is wide enough for me. Read that prayer again. Slowly. A man whose feet are bleeding, who just got chased out of a city, who has lost his wife, who has lost his uncle, who is surrounded by enemies on every side. And his only concern is whether God is pleased with him. That is not weakness. That is the deepest kind of strength. Most of us will spend our whole lives searching for. According to Islamic tradition, in this same period of difficulty, God gives Muhammad something profound. Muslims believe he was taken on a miraculous night journey called Al-Isra wal Miraj, from Mecca to Jerusalem, and then beyond, through the heavens themselves. A journey beyond ordinary human experience. He encounters the prophets who came before him. Ibrahim, Musa, Isa, men who also carried impossible weight, men who also stood in dark valleys, wondering if anyone was listening, men who also struggled before their message was accepted. In this journey, he is shown that he is not alone. He is part of a long, unbroken line of those who were asked to carry light through the darkest times of their worlds. The boy who lost everything, the man chased out of a city, the person rejected by his own people. Part of that line. God had not forgotten him. God never forgot him. The situation in Mecca reaches a breaking point. A plan is made to kill Muhammad. In the night, he and his closest companion Abu Bakr, quietly leave Mecca. They take shelter in a cave called Thor. The searchers come. They reach the entrance. According to famous Islamic narrations, a spider had woven a web across the cave opening, and a bird had nested at its mouth, which led the searchers to believe no one had recently passed through. They turned away. Whether you take it as miracle, as mercy, or as meaning, the lesson is the same. The greatest plans do not need to be loud. They just need to work. Muhammad travels north to a city called Medina, and something remarkable happens. People are waiting for him. Not because of wealth, not because of power, not because of armies, but because word had traveled. There is a man coming. A man who tells the truth. A man who sees every soul as worthy of dignity. They come out to receive him. This man, who spent years being rejected, walks into a city that chose him. And he builds something the world had not yet seen. A community, where the freed man stands beside the nobleman, where women are granted rights of inheritance, of consent, of protection, in an era when much of the world had not imagined such things, where people of different faiths are brought under a single written agreement, what historians call the Constitution of Medina, one of the earliest written social agreements between different communities in recorded history. This is not mythology. This is documented. Years of tests follow. Conflicts, truces, betrayals, heavy losses. Muhammad buries children. He loses companions who are like brothers. He stands on battlefields. He sits with the dying. He forgives those who tried to destroy him again and again. And then, in the 8th year after migration, he returns to Mecca. With 10,000, the city that rejected him, that hunted his followers, that chased him away until his feet bled. He enters, and he asks the people gathered before him, "What do you think I will do with you?" They are afraid, some trembling. They say, "We hope for mercy. You are a noble brother, the son of a noble brother." Muhammad looks at all of them, and he says, "Go. You are free. You are free." Few leaders in history have entered a conquered city and responded with this level of mercy. He walks in, not with a list of those who must pay, not with anger kept sharp for years, with forgiveness. Not because he had no choice, because he chose it, because he understood something most of us spend our whole lives running from. Holding on to anger is a prison, and the key has always been in your own hand. Near the end of his life, Muhammad stands on the plain of Arafat. A vast gathering stretches before him, people who had traveled from distant lands to be there. He gives what history calls the last sermon. And listen carefully to what this man, this prophet, this leader, this person who helped reshape history, chooses to say. Not about power, not about himself, not about his own greatness. He says, all of humanity is descended from Adam. An Arab holds no superiority over a non-Arab. A white person holds no superiority over a black person. A black person holds no superiority over a white person, except through righteousness and good character. The most honored among you is the most righteous. Do not wrong one another. Do not wrong one another. Do not wrong one another. 3 times. And then he looks at the crowd and asks, have I delivered the message? Tens of thousands of voices answer as one. Yes. And he raises his finger to the sky and says, O God, be my witness. 3 months later, he dies, in the arms of his wife Aisha, his head resting in her lap, his lips moving in one final prayer. The companion Umar, a fierce, powerful man, walks out and cannot accept it. He tells the people, he has not died. He cannot be gone. Because some people are so present, so alive in the world, that their absence feels impossible. But Abu Bakr, steady, calm, walks to the people and says words that cut straight to the truth. Whoever worshipped Muhammad has died. Whoever worships God lives and never dies. He died with almost nothing by the world's measure. His armor had been mortgaged. His home was simple. He mended his own sandals with his own hands. He sat on the ground with the poor. He visited the sick. He played with children. He made room for the grieving. He never asked for statues. He never asked for his face to be painted or preserved. He never built monuments to his own name. He asked for one thing: remember what I showed you. And 1400 years later, billions of people, in every language, on every continent, every single day. Remember, here is what the life of Muhammad offers, every person willing to sit with it. Suffering is not proof that you have been forgotten. The man who helped reshape history was an orphan. The man who spoke about human dignity was chased out of a city. The man who taught forgiveness had his feet bloodied by people who refused to hear him. And yet, he never stopped. He never became bitter. He never used his own pain to justify cruelty to others. He never closed his heart. He transformed what he carried into something that lifted the people around him. The most powerful thing he ever taught was not written in a single line. It lived in the way he moved through the world, with full presence, with open hands, with a heart that refused to harden, no matter how many times the world gave it reason to. You are going through something right now. Perhaps something that feels impossible. Perhaps something that makes you wonder if it will ever turn, if anyone sees, if what you carry even matters. Remember this: a boy once sat on a hillside. No father, no mother, no map, just sheep, and sky, and silence. And from that silence came a message that the world still hears. Your silence is not empty. Your struggle is not without meaning. And your story is not finished yet.